having to do the least amount of work for what we think is the greatest return. And it really doesn't work that way, right? The more work that you do, especially, for yourself, to yourself, the greater the return is going to be.
What's going on, family? Kevin and Jesse here with you guys today with the Elite State of Mind podcast, where, as always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. Jesse, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I am doing amazing. Family, make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram page. Make sure you click that bell on YouTube so you get notified every Wednesday as Jesse and I help you guys to listen, learn, and grow. What we're going to do today, family, is we are going to dive back into the freedom of fitness. But today what we're going to do, we're going to talk about what is the cost. And the first thing we're going to do, Jesse, is what is the cost of time in the freedom of fitness?
Man, I feel like it's a two-way go. Because the cost of it is if you're not fit, then you're going to lose some time.
So stay right there for a moment.
All right, okay,
Stay right there for a moment. Obviously, now are you talking about losing some time on the back end? Your life may be shorter. Definitely,
but also in your day-to-day life, you're going to lose some time because you don't have the energy to move around in an efficient manner. You don't have the energy to get up earlier, right? So the earlier we get up, the more time we actually have. Right. And that's the difference between, those people who are high producers that turn into high earners, that have a higher quality of life, and those who don't, right? We talk about it often. A little sleep.
A little slumber, a little folding of
the hands. Right.
Poverty comes quickly.
Yeah, there it is.
Pete, I think, just with that, people have to understand you can become impoverished in more things in your pocket.
It definitely. That's definitely why I referenced that, right? Your health, wellness, and your fitness can be impoverished. And it's based upon the decision that you make, of you choosing not to do anything about it.
I completely agree, and I would go so far as to say, you'll hear people say, there's the 1%, like you said, the 1% earners, the high earners. But before you become a 1% earner in monetarily, you got to get into the 1% of hyperactive people,
right?
That are optimizing their time, optimizing their day, and obviously that greatly correlates with, are you optimizing your fitness?
Yes.
What is your ability to, as you said, only need 4 to 6 hours of sleep, as you've referenced many times before. Right. And if you'll talk about that for a moment, how as we grow and as we age as adults, we no longer need 8 to 12 hours of sleep, to make sure our body rests and recovers and grows.
Right. A lot of people are, I'm saying all the time, man, hey, I need 8, I got 10, 12. Okay, that's if you're in a stage and a place where that's, that can be applied to you.
Right.
Right. But if you're in your season of grind and trying to get somewhere, I'll never forget, you hear, Arnold Schwarzenegger talk about, hey, man, I got 6 hours. I got 6 hours of sleep because I'm doing construction. I got an early morning workout. I'm going to work and coming back at lunchtime doing something. And after that, I'm going back to work. And then I have the evening workout. And then I have, acting class that I'm taking from, 8 to 12. And this was a daily thing being done. And we're talking about somebody that came over here with absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
Right? And grinded his way to becoming a movie star and political figure, all of that. Why? Because he maximized his time. He was able to maximize the time. Why? Because of his physical conditioning. Because the better you are, conditioned physically, mentally, that improves as well. You know? So people want to feel like, hey, I got to sleep, 8, 10, 12 hours. Often something is wrong, or a few studies have shown that if, through the week, let's say you get 4 to 5 hours every single night, then on the weekend, you can catch up a little bit, right? You might need to, right? We have one day, there's one day we're supposed to actually do a whole lot of nothing.
Right.
Where you can't be there sleeping and, just resting or whatever. But generally speaking, if you're a completely grown adult, then, 6 hours is going to be sufficient for you. And it's going to be that because you're hydrated. It's going to be that because you've reached a pretty good weight for yourself. And so that sleep apnea is not on you.
Right.
Okay. You're efficient in your breathing. And so you're actually resting. And so your cycle of sleep is actually cycling in a manner that, okay, the 90 minutes that it actually goes through that particular cycle, that you're getting in-depth sleep. You're getting quality sleep, not quantity.
So sleep should come in quality.
It should.
Not so much quantity.
It should.
As we get older.
As we get older.
And maybe, right? And you correct me if I'm wrong, for our children that are needing, the longer sleep, the longer rest periods, because they're growing organs, systems still developing.
That's right.
And obviously brain developing, heart developing, all of these things are still growing. But like you said, as grown adults, most of these things should be well functioning and developed.
Right.
So therefore, you're not, becoming a human anymore.
Right.
That process has reached, somewhat of its peak, and now it's time to optimize the car that you've built.
That's right.
And make it more efficient. The other portion of time that I want to talk about is, obviously, like you said, you take it, down to the day. Are we optimizing our day? But then, if I'm not fit, the other cost of time is the time that I will spend being sick, being unhealthy, being, for some people it leads to the hospital. Right. For many people, it leads to the hospital. It will lead to all of these other, things that will rob you of time with your family, of time with friends, time with yourself. And then that time is no longer quality. Right. So you're spending a quantity of your life laid up in a hospital bed, getting tubes put in you. Going to all these, appointments and things, and you're running from this doctor and that doctor. When many of these issues can be solved, hey, man, did I eat a little better?
Yes.
Was I active, like you said last time, 20, 30 minutes a day, just walking?
Yep.
Why is it that we don't preach these correlations, man, and drive the nail home, in the Western society as a whole, to get people to understand, hey, you can stay away from the doctor and get yourself more time?
I think a big part of it is that in, Western culture, it's about capitalism. So it's about, I can't capitalize on your non-wellness if I give you the things that are going to make you well. If I teach you the things that are going to make you well, then versus me, treating these symptoms of yours and just saying, hey, take 3 of these and call me next week. I got 3 more. I got 3 more for you that aren't going to do anything, but at least, mentally you'll feel like something is taking place. Versus putting in some work, I was watching a documentary just the other day. It's 28 days. 28 days of wellness, health, wellness, intentionality. So, they're meditating and they're, walking and being active 20, 30 minutes a day, about 2 times a day, and just honed in on, that plant-based diet, had a little juice and started their morning with some ginger shots and, things of that nature. The intentionality. When the psychology of us is that when we plan to do something and we do it, we have the intent from our heart, from our soul and our mind, they all align. Sure. Then more often than not, then we're actually going to accomplish that thing. Right. And it was, I think, 10 of them. All 10 of them improved their health.
And that's the crazy part. Obviously, family, there are some medical conditions that they require you, to go to your doctor and to listen, to the advice of your doctor. And many times, even if you're having issues that you can solve through, your fitness and your dietary habits, your nutrition habits, we just only take the pills and we never begin to change a lifestyle. Right. The pills oftentimes will keep you alive and give you an opportunity to make the changes necessary. And there are many doctors out there that are going to tell you, hey, a little exercise, and you'll see me less. Yes. Hey, a little more water, you'll see me less.
Very true.
But we just, nah, doc, I'll be back in 3 weeks. Yeah. Re-up. Give me another hit of this crack. Give me another dose.
I'll see you soon.
Do we just have a problem of convenience? And definitely, because it's so easy to pop a pill and like you said, think things are better.
Definitely, I think it is. Like you said, convenience and being comfortable, having to do the least amount of work for what we think is the greatest return, and it really doesn't work that way, right? The more work that you do, especially for yourself, to yourself, the greater the return is going to be. Right. We see it all the time, but we forget it, I think, as we roll into full-blown adulthood.
Right. I completely agree. And that leads us into the next thing that's in your cost of your freedom of fitness is money. So often we pay our insurance premium every month, because most of us have the job that we, pay that premium. Yep. And it alleviates the cost of some of these medications we have to take, which is great because obviously they're life-saving from time to time, right? Mm-hmm. But because then we'll say, oh, a salad and a bottle of water may cost me, $13, but this McDouble and large Coke is $2.
Yes.
Right? So up front.
Yes.
Up front, it's like a bad contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Up front, you get to save money.
Yeah.
Right? But then on the back end, like I can't remember the exact number, but the average cost of what it takes to treat, once you've had a heart attack is in the thousands. I mean, and then you're not even talking about if you got to ride in your own car.
Right. Or take the ambulance ride.
Take the ambulance to the hospital. Do you have to be metaflighted? Mm-hmm. What all do they have to do?
Yeah.
Then you're on this regimen of pills.
Yeah.
All because in our 20s, 30s, and I'm even taking it back further than that, because most of the time our parents didn't establish great eating habits with us. As children, we just perpetuated that through time. We continued through time.
Definitely.
We don't hire trainers. Or that'll be the first thing that gets cut out.
That's first thing cut, right?
Right. What do you feel is the psychological reason when people begin to cut out some of their holistic health and wellness practices, from maybe they have a trainer or they go to yoga or just have a gym membership that they're going and getting on the treadmill, that's the first thing cut, and then they're not making the correlation to what it's going to cost them monetarily on the back end?
Yeah, I think they're just mainly just looking at the cost. They're not looking at the value of, the yoga instructor, the trainer, the gym, whatever it may be. They're not looking at the value.
So value should outweigh the cost.
Yes.
Break that down for us for a moment.
Yes. The cost of something is just what the price is.
Sure.
The value is the thing that's going to bring the ROI, the return on investment on it. And so the valuation process says I might pay this up front and it might be higher. But over the course of years, so we're looking 5, 10, 20 plus, okay, I'm able to get a greater return because my health and my wellness is intact versus looking at purely just the cost of something. Like you said, they're always giving you a 2 for $5, right? 2 for $6. Yeah, okay, just less than $10. That's a cost.
Right.
We're not looking at that $10 we're spending like how many hours or how many minutes did it take for me, right? That's value. Right. So when we begin to look at value, you're going to go, I'm probably going to spend this $12 over here at Tropical
smoothie.
Yeah. And get that and know that I can eat that.
Right.
And be good for the day.
Sure.
But I eat this 2 for $6 or whatever it is, and my stomach messed up. I got a headache, sinuses messed up. There is a
I got to go to sleep for 3 hours.
No. It's days where this takes place. Because if the weather does something funny, the next thing I'm thinking, oh gosh, I got sinuses. No, you ate that 2 for $6 a few days ago, and it's in your system. It didn't leave. Right? People think, okay, yeah, my elimination is, it's supposed to be between 4 to 8 hours or whatever, and not when you eat dead food. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Because it's processed as poison when we eat it. But, we don't value ourselves. Let's just be honest, okay?
Facts.
We're not valuing ourselves. We just look at the cost because all we can think about is, man, I got to save as much money as possible, so I got to see what costs the least amount, and let's go there.
Produce produces money. Get good produce.
Yeah.
And that's one of the the sad parts. Like you said, we don't value and understand the things that are going to give us life. Right. We see money as a live thing. We know where money comes from. It comes from paper. Paper comes from trees. Trees are alive. Right. So if we want to be alive, the ability to make more money, we need to eat more things similar to the tree. Yeah. The root, the plant, the fruit, the veggie.
Yep.
Things that can keep us going, not shut us down, like you said, for days at a time.
Yeah.
And then, guys, I cannot stress enough that, man, I've seen so many people, in my family and then, friends and other people that you see their parents growing up. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing you know, we're just getting into adulthood. Right. Like I'm 33. I'm just getting into adulthood.
Yeah.
And so many people are having to live their adult life without the guidance of their grandparents and parents.
That's right. That's right.
And that's a sad thing. And it's all because, we eat these foods that taste so good to us.
Right.
Right? We want taste and convenience over, this salad will allow me to maybe not have to take up as much time eating throughout the day.
Right.
This salad will allow me to rest better, as you said. And now I can optimize, all the time that I'm spending to be a better dad, be a better entrepreneur.
Yep.
If I'm still working, be a better, at a business, be a better employee.
That's right.
Just be an overall happier person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about this for a moment, if you would. When we go eat the 2 for $6, psychologically, what does that do to us instead of eating a Caesar salad?
Well, from a psychological standpoint, we're saying, hey, I feel like I got to win because, I paid less than $10 for it. Then, when we begin to ingest it, there are, the 3 things that these food companies, they study this. Like, just like exercise scientists, they have food scientists looking for the best combinations, right? So what we've learned is that over the years, it's going to be, salt, sugar, are going to be some of the main things, and fat that we're going to ingest. Those 3 things together hit the brain like whatever drug of your choice is.
Right.
Whether it's going to be, meth or crack or, whatever it is, has that same effect on our brains. A lot of people like to argue that, oh, no, it doesn't have that effect and that's not true, this, that, and the other. Then how come you can't quit it?
Right. Maybe the side effect isn't the same.
Right. The side effect's not the same.
But the effect that's happening to you day by day.
The effect to the receptors is the same. And that you cannot refute. That is scientific.
That's high-level drugs right there.
Right? That is a high-level drug. Pharmaceutical, right? Grade drug. It's what they're making there. And we don't look at it that way. Why? Because all we look at the cost. We're not looking at the value. They're placing value on the fact that my science is greater than your psychology.
That's deep.
They are putting that on there.
That's deep.
That my science is better than what you think about yourself. Point blank and period.
Your mental psychology and the value you place.
The value you place
on your own life.
On your brain. On your organs. On your ability to move. Right? Let's think about it. If we have a stroke, what happens?
Can't move.
You really can't move very well.
Can't move.
But yet we see it every single day. Look at it. Hopefully, as we talk about this, we're looking at it. You see people every single day walking into McDonald's that can barely walk. Take their walker into McDonald's. I'm not knocking, them, but they're not the only one. Any fast food restaurant that is there that makes highly processed food, and that's what they cannot argue with that. It is highly processed.
Right.
It is frozen. It is makeshift. It is a combination of goo and other things that are there that they shape and make it into whatever it is it needs to be.
And taste.
Right? And so it is a foreign object to the body.
Right.
As it's recognized. So anything that's foreign is read as poison to us, and everything shuts down until that poison leaves. Now, the issue is, how long does this poison stay in our system?
Ooh. I'll take a guess. I'm going to go 3 weeks.
If you're in pretty good shape.
Okay.
If you're not, it's going to be, between 2.5, 3 months before this leaves, right? Because of the ability of the preservative has a thing called a half-life.
Right.
Right? So they have to be able to make this and then ship it, and then it has to be able to stay well, quote unquote, until it's actually being used.
Wow.
So that plays a part in you too. When you ingest that, you have a half-life in you. You keep repeating that, and guess what? It stacks. The same thing goes with, supplementation.
Right.
Both the good and the bad, it works the same way. Right? Those are the laws that we deal in. Whether it doesn't know good or bad, it just knows the rhythm. If you're in the rhythm of fast food, you're in the rhythm of Dr. Pepper, you're in that particular rhythm of ice cream, guess that's the wrong doctor, right? Then that's the rhythm that's going to be exhibited externally. So we'll see the fluffiness and all this other.
Sure.
We can tell when we're doing the right thing. Why? Because it dissipates. it goes away. Right? Which rhythm are we on? So that's the thing that we have to look at in terms of us making particular choices.
And then, like you said, you might pay a little bit more now for the salad. For if you drink the bottled water, but guys, at Crest they sell gallons of water for 98 cents. I mean, distilled, spring, drinking, whatever you want. I think Winco had them for 78 cents. Not too
Winco
long ago.
for the win,
man. I won't go buy $1 gallon of water and a lemon for 50 cents a lemon,
right?
And cleanse my blood daily because I can drink that daily.
You can do that every day.
But I'll make sure I buy my 2 liter.
Right. You make sure you get that sweet tea.
Man.
With a side of diabetes.
And then I'll complain about the cost of insulin.
Right.
When I could get myself off insulin.
Right. You can do that. That's you. Unless you were born with type 1.
Sure.
Then okay, then that's just a part of your...
Totally different thing.
Your makeup, and there's different ways to do with that, but we have to take, proper steps and medication for that. Mm-hmm. It is what it is, right? But type 2 is something that we eat our way into. Like, I don't care. We eat our way and drink our way into it.
Every time.
So we can do the reverse of that as well.
I have never come across a medical profession, doctor, nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, that has said type 2 diabetes was brought on by something outside of diet and poor exercise habits. Mm-mm. And I have not. And that's, especially in the black community, that's something that is, I don't think there is anybody that does not have a family member affected by type 2. And normally you got 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Because if they don't have it, that means they're pre-diabetic. You're in position to receive diabetes.
Make you aware you're in position to receive this diabetes.
Yes.
And how long you stay on this diabetes
depends on you.
But no, I don't want it. I don't want the salad. I'll keep choosing Oscar Mayer.
You know why? You don't want the salad because it takes preparation. It takes prior planning.
Cost some time.
Right? It takes an investment of your time and a little bit of effort to do it, right? To do that. But if you go ahead and make it, get your whole head of lettuce and some spinach and, get some different colors in there. Mm-hmm. Some onions, white, yellow, sweet, bell pepper, cucumber. Put it on in there, you'll be just fine.
Right.
Okay? Versus you're going to hit the, I swang through the drive-thru and got this salad. Oh, boy, it's full of sugar. It's hidden sugar that's there.
Because I don't want to go pay for the salad that might cost me $13, $14, $15.
Right.
They over here dousing the sugar and dousing the salad in sugar, selling it to me for $5.
Right.
Saying it's a healthy choice.
Right. I got a little protein with it. Got a
little chicken. Little chicken, whole lot of cheese.
Doused in more sugar.
Slathered in ranch dressing.
Yeah.
Super ranch dressing.
Yeah. Yep.
The last thing that I want to talk about with, and these two are definitely going to be, the first two lead into the last one.
Yeah.
Is the cost of your freedom of fitness is going to be life.
Yeah.
And what is the quality of your life and the quantity of time you get to live? Obviously, we've spoken to both. But if these things are in good condition, right? I've learned how to optimize my day. I spent more money on the front end. Right?
Yes.
Then just see, how should my life work on the back end with my freedom of fitness?
Then the life you envision is able to come to fruition because of that. Because you decided to make a shift. People call it paradigm shift. It's one of a mental shift. So as you increase in your knowledge and then you pursue understanding and all you're getting understanding, then you're able to put yourself in position to receive wisdom, to operate in wisdom. So to do so is to take both knowledge and understanding and apply it repetitively in a positive manner, being wise, redeeming, understanding time, how it works.
Right.
You're able to, redeem that because of what you've done, the value you've been able to place on life, the value you place on eating living food, the value you place on moving your body because you're designed to actually move and not just sit. Those things, that life is going to be full, that you might have life and have it more abundantly. An abundant life is not lacking.
True.
So when we recognize that we're in different stages and places and then we're lacking elements, that means we're not living in the abundance. Excuse me, that is rightfully ours.
We're going to digress just for a moment.
Okay.
Let me talk to the saints, the quote unquote saints, those of us who are of the household of faith, because many times when we begin to talk about our health and wellness, about our fitness, we first believe that because of who created us, that gives us carte blanche to eat whatever we want and do whatever we want, to drink whatever we want and consume whatever we want.
You're right.
Now, I'm not calling myself a scholar of the word, a theologian by any means. But if you study the law, there are some things inside the law, them sea roaches, the pork, and other things you should not be taking in. But that's Old Testament. He said, don't call anything I make unclean or common. He did, but he didn't say eat it.
Right.
The second part, and then I want to get your opinion on this, is the thing that we always hear. Oh, physical labor, physical fitness, profit little.
Yeah.
Why do we, people that have a belief in God, want to twist his word to be lazy and unfit, and still claim to be doing his work and taking care of the temple he provided?
Right. It's a bad theology that they have, to be honest. You can't tell me that you believe in something and only do half of it. It's hard to do that. You believe that you're going to get a full paycheck. That's why you show up if you have a full-time job.
Right.
Okay? You don't go half the time and say, I believe in 2 weeks I'm going to get all that they owe me. Everybody look to your neighbor and say, neighbor, you're going to get all you can get by doing half the work. It doesn't work that way, man.
No.
It don't work that way.
They'll fire you.
They are going to fire you, and then you're going to have a bad reputation as being a terrible worker and a lunatic who don't know nothing about God.
True.
Right?
Very
So
true.
it's one of those things that it allows an individual to not take responsibility for the dominion and free will that we have. So to say it doesn't profit, right? It doesn't do you any good. It only profits a little bit. You can't, a little bit of profit. Here's what we learn. As we're learning about stocks, as we're learning about the market, a little bit of profit, when you put a lot in, is going to get you a huge return, enough to rejoice about. But even if you do just a little bit, and you get a little bit of return, you still say, uh-oh, I got a little win right here.
Hey,
maybe I should put a little bit more into it than what I have.
I can keep stacking.
Right? But again, like that parable says, you were given something and you did nothing with it. That's what these individuals represent. The do-nothing crew.
Oh, no.
That's what they do.
Don't be a part of the do-nothing.
You're doing nothing.
Don't join the do-nothing gym.
You're doing a whole lot of nothing. You just have to run in your mouth. And you're running your mouth in the wrong direction. You're steady trying to run other people down about what they need to do, how they need to do it, what life they need to live. Your job is to be quiet and to do your work, to mind your own business with your own hands.
Come on, Mama.
Right.
Study to be quiet.
Study to be quiet. Right? And to focus on what you need to focus on. It's something that I tell people all the time when we get to talking, is individuals should have enough going on in their own respective lives. You should. To stay out of the lives of others. See, if you're really involved in your own life, then you need to be getting your own life in order. Because the only affairs you're responsible for are yours. So your uninvited opinion, is it needed? Nor is it accepted.
Right.
So you may keep that to yourself, and when you've gotten the beam out of your eye, then you may be concerned about another. See, it furthermore lets you know these individuals, they don't know God. Because if you claim all the time to know that God is love, that the Creator is love, then that's how you're going to deal with another individual.
True.
Understanding that you yourself, see, he gives us some grace, that you yourself has to operate in that particular level of understanding. That when you deal with another person, that they're human.
Right.
They're dealing in their humanness, so therefore, hey man, I got to give them some more grace. Some that I might not have had, some that I may not even understand.
Right.
But because I claim to know the Creator that loves everything and everyone, I should probably think the best, believe the best, hope the best. Stop keeping a record of how you've wronged me.
Right.
I should probably, operate in that.
But I can't if I don't do that with myself.
Yeah.
If I don't love myself enough to take care of myself.
Bro, we talked about it. Like, we want to displace the law when he sent his son to fulfill it, not get rid of it.
Facts.
And we overlook that, right? I'm a New Testament saint. Are you? You can't even spell it. And secondly, you don't even understand that, hey, he's dealing with individuals that were supremely litigious.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking to them and with them, and we got to make 500, 600 new laws on top of the law. So the statement of, hey, if you do these two things,
right,
then you fulfilled all of this. You completed that.
Right.
Those two things aren't difficult. Like you said, it starts with loving yourself.
Right.
Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
I agree. I'll say this as we digress. You cannot and you should not expect somebody to want to sit down and talk to you about what you got going on, because we're all first visual creatures.
Yes.
And you look a mess.
Yeah.
Because you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
To make sure, as our grandparents taught us, when you leave this house,
you leave the house,
to
man,
look like somebody loves you.
Look like somebody loves you.
So again, whether that means you got to walk for 30 minutes a day, you got to get down and do you some crunches, do you some push-ups,
whatever you got to do.
Make sure your clothes are ironed.
Look
Look like somebody love you.
I was
Make sure your teeth is brushed, as Papa would say, and your hair is combed.
Yep. I was thinking about it the other day, getting ready. I'm like, ooh. See this wrinkly shirt. Mama was like, I know you're not trying to leave this house with them wrinkles in that shirt.
She sure would. Sure would.
Yeah.
Just before we get out of here, what I want you to do is to encourage the family on, if I pay the cost up front, if I will be disciplined enough to pay a little bit more up front, what my freedom of fitness is going to be overall.
Man, I think you'll be able to live the life that you have envisioned. I know that our Creator gives each and every single one of us a preview, as Steve Harvey has said, of the coming attraction, of the life that you actually want to have. Mm-hmm. You know what that is. You know the type of clothes that you want to wear. You know the type of job, if you want a job, what you want it to be. If you want to own a business, you know exactly what that is. You know what you want your bank account to look like. Mm-hmm. But in order for those things to actually come to fruition, you're going to have to put the work in there. A dream comes to pass by a multitude of activity. So you have to get active. You have to get extremely militant towards your activity with yourself, for yourself, right? To get yourself in position, in place to actually walk in that which you know you should be.
Right.
Right? If you believe that you should have an abundant life, it's yours for the taking. If you believe that you're supposed to be a millionaire, it's yours for the taking. I just wanted to encourage everybody that whatever it is that you want to do, there is no limit to what it is that you want to become. Don't be afraid to do the work of becoming that. Mm-hmm. That means you might have to change some things, change some routines, change some locations, change some friends, change some relationships. Whatever it is that you need to do, we're going to go ahead and make sure that it gets done, because that life that you desire to live, that really wakes you up, that thing that's really in your heart, soul, mind, in your stomach, that gives you a little knot, even a little butterfly, the thing that really gets you going, that you get excited about, you should probably do that thing.
Right.
You should probably work towards getting that thing done. Not shirking any responsibilities, none whatsoever. It's not what we're saying. What we're saying is you actually put the plan together to get it done. To actually say, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, and in a year, this is where I'm going to be.
Right.
And you can do it. You can do it. We're all working on it. We're not any better than anybody else. But what we're saying is we got to change our mind so that we can actually bring these things to fruition and be that light. Right? People just think of I'm just here. No. You have a purpose. In order for you to meet your purpose, you have to prepare for it.
True.
And part of that is getting your body in subjection. Part of that is getting your mind renewed. So that's why it's a thing about, hey, we got to get physically fit and then mentally fit as well.
Right. At the same time, they run a parallel. They sure do. Family, what I want to leave you guys with is this: there is obviously a debt that you will incur if you do not make sure that you pay the cost of eating right, of being, physically fit once you leave high school. Many of us in high school, we run track, we play, sports, or, mandatory physical, you got PE class, whatever. But I'm here to tell you that the debt you're going to have to pay if you keep on eating the processed food. You're not fit, because you're going to become, like Jesse said, a do nothing. You're going to cost yourself your family. You're going to cost yourself your life.
Talk about
You're going to cost yourself your job. You're going to cost yourself your ability to be an active participant in this world.
Yes.
And the only thing you'll be doing is sitting around and consuming the TV or movies or all the things while life is steadily passing you by. Right. While there's a 4x6 window sitting right at the head of your bed, and outside of it are all the joys and the beauties and the wonders that God has set before us. Yeah. So please, please, please understand the importance of paying a little bit more up front, of having the discipline to not eat that bologna sandwich, to not drink that 2-liter of Pepsi, because you're going to look up in old age and be alone and have nothing but the Pepsi and the bologna. We sure do appreciate you guys for tuning in with us today. Make sure, family, that you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Y'all have a great day.